This is Stuart Webb, breakthrough growth expert, author, founder and CEO of The Complete Approach, with another of my one-take video blogs, All the Mistakes Stay In. One of the big business rules is that 1 is the worst number in business. There are a number of fundamental business rules that you should never break, or if you do, you're breaking them with a full understanding of the rule and the implications of breaking it. And this is the one rule that should never be broken. The fact is that there are a number of business rules that every business owner should be acutely aware of. And the rule of 1 is absolutely at the top of that list. Of course, we learn some rules on the journey, but these are usually harsh lessons. Much better to know what they are before learning by mistakes. They're not difficult to find, but many business owners don't invest time in learning. They don't read books, they don't attend seminars, they don't invest in their own personal development. And that's something I've never fathomed, that you can get 10 or 20 years of someone else's experience in around 3 to 4 hours when you read a book. Anyway, back to the rule of 1. Here are the sort of things you should absolutely avoid as part of the rule of 1. One main supplier, and I'll come back to that. One member of staff that you absolutely rely on far too much. One financially big client or customer, and that is a big one that I'll talk more about. One way to generate leads. One way to acquire clients, customers or patients. Absolutely cardinal sin, and we've talked a lot about that in these video blogs. One product or service. You can never survive with one product or service. One way to get customers buying more frequently. That will become stale very quickly. Only one way to deliver your product or service, and COVID has had a major impact there. One of my clients is struggling because they only had one way, and now they are thankfully developing more, etc. There are a number of industries and businesses that rely heavily on one main client, customer or patient. It's scary how often that one big client stretches resources to the full, usually to the detriment of other customers, and the business ultimately becomes too reliant on this big source of income. It almost always ends in tears. I was involved in a business once where that was exactly the problem. I ran a division where that special client wasn't my client, and I was constantly robbed of staff to feed the desires of our major customer. As a result, I lost a lot of goodwill and business from my customers. A lot. Eventually, that customer cancelled their contract, and the business started looking for how to recover their shortfall. I just wasn't possible, and it was just a lost cause. The business was eventually sold very cheaply about a year later, 6 months after I left the business. Often it's harder than it sounds not to get dragged into the mire of 1, but when you find yourself having been sucked in, you have to work extra hard to start multiplying the 1. You have to work hard to change the 1 to a 2 or to a 3 or to a 4 and so on. It's vitally important, especially when you're building a solid and quickly growing business. I could go on for hours, but I won't. If you'd like more help, subscribe to the videos, or why not request our one-page roadmap by clicking on the link at the bottom of the page. Thanks for listening, and I hope we'll speak again soon.